welcome back to Blue Jays Today, where today, guys, we've got an update for y'all about the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes, and also an interesting press conference or media call that Ross Atkins had just moments ago, where he was being very, very suspicious on where exactly he was calling from, leaving the entire internet wondering, where is Ross Atkins? And is he speaking to someone that we won on the Toronto Blue Jays? Let's get into it, guys. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And yeah, guys, he was sus. Like, as the kids say, he was a tad bit sus, folks. Let's flash over to one of the many tweets kind of outlining what it was that he said. So, Keegan Matheson here tweeted out, I asked Blue Jays GM Ross Atkins if he was in Nashville or elsewhere, because just as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, Nashville right now is where the winter meetings are. They are officially taking place right now, so you would anticipate all of the GMs, like anybody who's anybody, should be in Nashville right now at the winter meetings. That's where they should be. But apparently, he declined to really comment on that. He said, due to scheduling conflicts, I was able to be on this call, and I am grateful for your adjustment to be here with me today. I wanted to make sure that I was with you, and Zoom permitted that to happen. And then I pulled up the Hazel May one, just a few over there. Hazel May, she says, asked multiple times whether he was here in Nashville. Ross Atkins would only say that he appreciated the media for making the adjustment to Zoom. So listen, guys, I mean, COVID was a whole thing, and Zoom was great, and we all appreciate Zoom. But typically when I'm doing my press conferences, I'm not, my main point isn't, I'm going to appreciate Zoom, you know? So it is very strange that is what he came out and said, and really declined to comment on where the hell he was.
Yeah, and here's some other 2 cents. So Hazel May, Ben Nicholson-Smith, a lot of the Sportsnet team, shout out to Ori Pie right there with the dono, says check Twitter DMs. I didn't see anything, so maybe send it again. But that entire crew is in Nashville. So it's not like they're calling in from Toronto. Right. They're literally there in Nashville. They were expecting him to be there, and he wasn't there. So that got the entire Twitter world kind of just going on a CSI mission, a scavenger hunt, trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, hell, even Keegan Matheson came out and he tried to do a little bit of CSI work himself. Yeah. He said after, I have identified the shade of white on the wall. This is a joke, obviously, guys. Identify the shade of white on the walls behind GM Ross Atkins today, and I'm working with my sources to identify which hotels, which state he's been used in, because he's kind of just making fun and joking of the entire Blue Jays world. Figure out, where is he in? Is he in LA, where you got Shohei Ohtani's agency? Right. Someone even said, is he in Japan? Yeah. What do you make of this this whole suspicious activity you got going on from Ross Atkins?
Okay, well, I'll tell you where he's not, guys. I'll tell you where he's not. He's not in Nashville, because there is no reason, unless he is trying to play some real 3D chess maneuver and mess with the brains of the other GMs, right? 'Cause that's the only reason as to why you would do this if you were in Nashville. He is not in Nashville, because he would not be calling in on Zoom if he was in Nashville. So we know for sure he's not there. Could he be in Toronto? Maybe, but why? Because, you know, who would be here right now? Like, if he's still in Toronto, my question to him is, what the hell are you doing, dude? Like, winter meeting started on Sunday. So that would be a big no-no for me. And if he was actually still there, then I would have some serious things to say. I think that the most logical options right now, and as tough as they are to believe, is either he is in LA or he is in Japan. Because really, like, where the hell else would he be?
Well, what other free agent right now has been asking politely for media and for the other GMs across baseball to say, hey, we want to keep our negotiations in private and don't leak anything. Right. You had, like Hazel May said, multiple times, he dodged the question. He just said, well, he did the whole political thing. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for making the adjustments here today.
Yeah, Zoom's great.
Zoom's
Thanks a
great.
lot.
He said the thing that he had to say. So honestly, if I am going to bet money, there's no other reason than to believe that he is not with Shohei Ohtani. Right. He or at least some representation of him, because what's he gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm speaking of Shohei. Boom, you shot yourself in the foot with your chances with him. Of course, I think he's got to be. Yeah. Or else, why aren't you in Nashville?
No, I completely agree, dude. I mean, like, I really do think that, and a lot of times when you get this internet controversy, this internet speculation, usually it's coming out of thin air. But when you are literally having a guy reschedule his meeting, or not reschedule it, but still take it, but change the entire setting of it, and it was like an hour. prior to when it was scheduled. Yeah, it's
so
like,
this must have been urgent. It must have been like, hey, sorry, continue your thought.
Yeah, but you're right. It must have been one of those situations where it's like, oh shit, like I'm actually not going to make it right now. This is more important, but I still need to hold on to my meeting so I don't look like a complete idiot right now. Maybe I'm gonna take it from Zoom. You know,
right.
I think that the internet is completely onto something here. That yes, it has to be about Shohei Ohtani.
Yes,
Ross Atkins right now, if I had to bet my life on it, is somewhere dealing with Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, literally, it has to be, right? It absolutely has to be. And I'm also like, I don't know how truthful this is. I'm probably not even gonna show it up because it's by an account that.
No, pop it up.
I'll bring it up, guys, because a lot of you are saying it in the chat right now, saying Cubs are out. Blue Jays are coming down to the wire. This was 15 minutes ago, right here. Again, not saying this is a reliable source at all. I don't know. Blue check marks make me immediately think no.
Sure.
But update: Chicago Cubs are out per source. Shohei Ohtani's camp is starting to inform teams that they're no longer in the running for the superstar free agent. So apparently the Cubs are out, and then you had a little bit later that the Angels have been just informed that they are out.
Right.
I don't know. Again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying what y'all are saying in the chat and what Twitter's saying right now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, I'll tell you what. Right about that right there, I could 1,000% believe that it is that time where Shohei Ohtani's camp is letting people know, hey, listen, it's just not going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because you're at that place, right? The winter meetings are on right now. We are halfway through them. You know, we're basically halfway through the winter meetings right now. Shohei Ohtani, he's got to know at this point whether or not you are going to be a desirable destination or not. And I mean, I could have told you beforehand that the Angels were out. But if it is true that the Chicago Cubs are out, that is a big development because we did get word, I believe it was either earlier today or it was yesterday, looking at the final 6 teams for Shohei Ohtani. There was a final 6. I'm not sure if we even have it up right now. But
I know what you're talking about.
But there was a final 6, and it dealt with the Dodgers, the Jays, the Angels were there, the Cubs were there, and the Braves, and then there was one other squad which I can't quite remember right now.
The
Giants. Thank you very much. Right. So if it is true that the Cubs and the Angels are gone, hey, just looking at that alone, that's a 25% chance if you're just rolling the dice to get them. You know?
Yeah. And you know what? I think I saw another tweet there. I don't have it up here because we wanted to focus on this Ross Atkins news, but it was leaked earlier today. I think it was John Morosi saying we have about 72 hours until Ohtani is expected to sign. Yeah. And that's what it sounds like. So if teams, again, don't know if this is true or not, you don't have big names kind of talking about it, but if it is true that teams are falling out of the running, we might see it a little bit later in this live stream, then this is great news. This is absolutely great news.
Also, quick shout out here to somebody who has just messaged us privately on Twitter. Not to say their name or anything, but just hearing that Ohtani and Atkins are meeting right now, source from the Jays, and I have a connection. Now listen, once again, whenever people message us stuff like this, you got to take it with a grain of salt because, we love all of you. We appreciate all of you guys who are coming to us, but unless we know exactly who your source is, it's really impossible to say definitively that is the case. However, based on what it is hearing right now, but the fact that this guy hopped onto Zoom is being incredibly suspicious right now. About where he is. Like, if this was your partner, if this was your girlfriend or your boyfriend, let me spoil it right now. They're cheating on you.
They're cheating on you.
Or they're doing something fucking suspicious, man. They're doing something wrong if this is how they are addressing your relationship right now. So I would 100% buy that he is, in fact, in on it. And the fact that we are now 72 hours away from locking this thing in, this is the end game. This is the, if you're meeting with him right now, this is your closing statement. We learned, in law class, I took law class in high school, right? You're closing your final statement right now. This is it. It's everything on the table. It's the 600 mil plus this, plus we're gonna get your translator laid, plus you know what I mean? Like it's everything on the table right now. I think that's what's transpiring right now because there's no other reason why you would miss a presser unless it is literally the end game right now for Shohei Ohtani.
Well, we also got an update from our source, which we're not gonna say your name. Do not worry, my friend. That apparently this is coming from Ross Atkins' assistant. So Ross Atkins' assistant. I don't know. Again, but here's my thing. Why would, again, I'm not saying I don't believe you, source that's coming to us, but why would Ross Atkins' assistant start leaking all this information? You know what I mean? If you truly wanted to get Shohei Ohtani, unless you just did not care and you just want to become a reliable source in the industry, why would you be leaking this information?
Right.
But I hear what you're saying, that this is the absolute final stretch the Toronto Blue Jays are going to make, because everything that we do from this point out is going to be dependent on the next 72 hours. And honestly, I just want it to get over with.
Yeah.
I am so tired It's been fun with y'all. I love all y'all. 525 y'all in here. Hit the like button, smash the subscribe button.
Let's bump this thing up to 69 likes, guys.
Bump it up. But, man, do I want just a decision to happen so I can move on, so I can start to see the reality of what the Blue Jays are going to be in 2024? And I can't see that right now because right now there's a lot of question marks.
Agreed. Shout out and thank you to Deep Dive Jays for the $279 dono right there, saying if we give up Manoah, thoughts on Shota Imanaga. Wow, okay, we got to look into that. We got to deep dive into that Toronto Blue Jays question. However, first things first, I do want to just go into what it was that Ross Atkins actually did say after we got past the entire suspicious, nonsense going on about where the hell you're located, because he did come out with some very interesting notes on the Toronto Blue Jays free agency. For starters, if they do not get Shohei Ohtani, what the game plan is after that.
Yeah, if they don't get Shohei Ohtani, it looks like Ross Atkins had come out, not in the media presser, and he's kind of mentioned that they're maybe going to turn their attention towards potentially the trade market to go and get a big free agent, or not big free agent, but a big position player. I'm trying to find the tweet right here.
Well, he did say this, where they're in a strong position on the trade market, and that's
right.
from Ben Nicholson-Smith. And they did talk a lot about the trades, saying that they are working on it, that this is definitely an area of interest for them. And I know prior to the podcast, you were telling me that they were looking at this trade market and saying, realistically, like, if we do not lock down Shohei Ohtani, the second that does happen, if another team gets him, they are going to really focus in on that for a pitching side of things, and maybe even a position player side of things as well.
Yeah. I found the tweet right here. It is from Keegan Matheson saying, I continue to believe that once Ohtani market the decision, the Blue Jays will point their energy to trade market. But here's my question, and you kind of reacted to this before we even began this podcast. Because Atkins says that the free agent market is stronger for pitching, but there are opportunities on the position player side of things for sure on the trade market. Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously he's talking about Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Maybe he's talking about Isaiah Paredes, right? That we've heard before. But what about Cody Bellinger? Have we just forgot about Cody Bellinger potentially being that left-handed power bat that we've been missing out on?
Look, maybe they're worried about the money. We were talking about this yesterday when we went live, everybody. The price tag on Cody Bellinger is looking to be $250 million. Do not get me wrong. I would love to have him on the Toronto Blue Jays. However, that price tag for what is going to be a double-digit years on the contract, that's just a little bit too much for me for Cody Bellinger, and maybe Ross Atkins is feeling the same way.
Yeah, maybe. It could be very much a little bit too much money. So if with that the case, then it's Juan Soto, right? I think it would have to be a Juan Soto.
It has got to be Juan Soto, man. And we did get some reports yesterday. I don't know if we have anything up for it right now, but I'm sure that you heard Manoah right now.
Yeah,
and his name is being thrown around in those Juan Soto conversations. We've been speculating on it a lot as to who would be the guy, what would be the package, right? Because Ricky Tiedemann, he is obviously out there, and he is a top dude. I think anybody in their right mind would want to have Ricky Tiedemann coming in their direction. But if the Toronto Blue Jays are firm and they do not want to trade him, and the fact that there has been some relationship problems with Alek Manoah recently, and his past year not looking so good, we did get confirmation that, yes, in fact, he is one of those guys that is getting seriously talked about going in reverse to the Padres.
Yeah, and looking at that New York Yankee package, man, like that is a lot, and it is kind of freaky. I did see a package that included Manoah, but without Ricky T. I think trading two of them is not a great decision.
I don't think that you can, man.
You can't, because that's your pitching depth right there.
That's your pitching. That's not only pitching depth, it's your pitching future.
Exactly.
Right? Because the rest of them, as phenomenal as they are, as phenomenal as Gausman is, and Bassett is, and Barrios, and whatever, they are all getting older. And Manoah and Ricky Tiedemann, the beautiful thing about them is that they come with youth and they come with cheap longevity. You do not need to pay those guys a lot of money. Hell, Manoah going to be going into the ARB years, kind of a blessing in disguise that he sucked. Because
it's cheap.
You're not gonna have to pay this guy anything right now. He was in the minors for a bit last year, you know.
What's crazy is I thought that, like, if he were to play a full year and he was that bad before he got sent to the minors, that his ARBs would have gone, or ARB year would have gone way down. But he still got another year because he got sent down so early. He didn't get enough playing time.
Yeah.
So, like, if he does break out, then, like, he might actually cost a little bit more.
If he does break out, then everything is forgiven. I'll give you the $5 million that you get in ARB1, even if that, right?
Yeah.
But realistically, you gotta hold on to one of those dudes because it is the future of your pitching rotation. So I'd be very interested to hear the plus associated with Manoah, because it's not just
Alek
Manoah
no.
for Juan Soto. If it is, do it in a heartbeat.
I think you got to do it.
You do it in a heartbeat if that's what the case is. But if it is Manoah plus Elvis Martinez plus David Schneider, but you don't know, it's plus, and the
Minor
list just starts going on and on and
prospects,
on. That is where you really need to evaluate, is 1 year of a generational potential MVP worth maybe the 15 years of control that we're giving up in the rest of the players combined. You know?
And that's the question that Ross Atkins is kind of facing right now. We actually got some news about a potential Soto update, but before we do, guys, let's just give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's Blue Jays Today show.
Whoa! Time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. Shout out to Betway, guys, for being absolutely phenomenal. Also, shout out to everybody who's watching right now. We have over 600 people with us. This is our 5th day in a row going live. If you haven't already done so, folks, please hit that like button. Let's bump this thing up to 200 likes and subscribe to the channel, guys. We are getting dangerously close to 20,000 subscribers. And listen, guys, we do some weird shit on this channel. We're gonna do some extra weird shit, I think, for a 20K live stream. I don't even know what it's gonna be yet, but it's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Shout out to Ari Pie with the $13.99 donation. Once again, check MLB Insider account said that we are in on Yamamoto. We will do that momentarily, dude. But I do want to get to the Juan Soto stuff since we are on that train. Shout out to Michael Marino here. Heyman coming out and saying that 5 offers for Soto are here, and he names Toronto and San Fran as 2 of them. Do we really think the Padres would trade Soto in the division to the Giants, especially after Melvin left for San Francisco Giants? I have my doubts, but who knows? So I agree with him right there.
I do.
I would have my doubts about the Giants, and we know that the Giants are effectively in on everybody, and they were kind of the bride that never was last year because they were in on everybody last year, and it looked like they were going to get all the free agents, and then they got none of them. And right now, it feels like they're in on everybody, and it looks like they might get none of them again, potentially. You never know. But I would say that if we were to tier list the potential trades right here, I have Toronto over San Francisco Giants 10 times out of 10.
Well, we've heard reports from Hector Gomez that Toronto is the favorites. And, right here, just in this tweet itself, the New York Yankees are kind of falling out of it. John Heyman getting quoted right here saying, still no movement in Padres-Yankees talks and more in here, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, Blue Jays are the favorites. But again, I am a little bit worried. It is kind of creeping up on me like, damn, because essentially when you're trading away all these prospects, you're trading away 6 years of control on all of them. Granted, some of them may never touch the major leagues. Maybe they do, and it's 1 year and then they're gone. So you're trading away all this future for just 1 year. And again, I only feel good about the Soto trade if we get a contract with a guy for a long term like Cody Bellinger. You know what I mean? Or we get Yamamoto. We extend the future somehow. If we just keep buying for 1 year, because if all we do is Soto and then we fill it up with a bunch of more rental guys, okay, well, what we did was, okay, now we're saying that this is the year to win now, but based on last year with the core guys we have, I'm going, damn, like that didn't prove to me that it's time to win now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do hear what you're saying, right? And I think the biggest argument against that, albeit different sports, is the Toronto Raptors experiment with Kawhi Leonard. I mean, you can always point that out as anecdotal evidence and say, listen, they went all in. It worked. It worked the exact way that it should. And if you could do that, you do that all the time. Now, that's obviously a gamble. You're rolling the dice in baseball. It is 1 out of 9 players. So it's a less of an impact necessarily. I am still of the mind, though, that Juan Soto is a very special guy, and I would be okay with giving up a bunch of question marks for a dude who I know for sure is going to go to the All-Star game, is going to be a top guy, is going to get MVP votes, is going to potentially lead the Toronto Blue Jays next year.
Yeah, look, I'm good to do it again because I'll even make it a slimmer fraction, 1 out of 9 on half of the baseball, whereas like Kawhi Leonard is 1 out of 5 on both sides of the ball.
Sure,
right? So he's 1/5 of the entire team, where Soto's like 126.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? So if we're gonna get him, get Bellinger, go get or get Ohtani, or sign a pitcher, or add a bunch of 1 year rental dudes. Like make that one make it up to 1/5.
Yeah.
Like really add. And,
Well,
you know
what
I mean?
do you make then of the other comment that Ross Atkins came out with today in this secretive presser, looking at going out and getting multiple guys? I think it's right here. Yeah. So shout out to Gregor Chisholm, who came out and who tweeted what he said. Says, Atkins, I think it would be exceptionally difficult for us to land 2 players that are, don't hold me to this figure, but that are 5 wins and above. And what he means by that is 5 WAR, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at 5 WAR guys. 25 million average annual value and above. 2 of those to add to our roster would be exceptionally difficult to pull off. And that is one of 2, because then he goes on to say, but as we always talk about, the relationship we built with Edward and Tony, the ability to go get them and present something to them is real. I would never eliminate us, but I think that would be very difficult to pull off. So I do wonder if this is only applicable to the free agency market, because keep in mind, Juan Soto would be a 25 million average annual value guy. However, it would only be for 1 year. So I wonder if that kind of falls under that,
right.
or if it does leave the gate open to say, hey, listen, okay, Juan Soto's a $25 million guy. However, we only have him for 1 year, so we're also going to get another $25 million guy and have him for an extended period of time.
Right. I hear what you're saying, and I do think it is off note of that. I do think it's difficult to get both of them, right? Like, I think once the Jays make a move for one of them, you know, they're probably going to be setting their sights a little bit differently.
And by one of them, you're meaning Ohtani,
Bellinger, one of the guys over 5 WAR. I do agree that they're totally separate, and I wouldn't count us out like Ross is saying, but a lot of analysts have come out and have said, I mean, John Morosi, I mean, maybe there's not believers that the Blue Jays could even pull off something like this. A lot of people are not believers that the Jays could actually get 2 of them. It's possible, highly unlikely, of course, but not impossible.
Yeah, it will be very difficult, right? I mean, you got to keep in mind, there are 30 MLB teams out there right now, and every single one of them would love to have this player on their team. So even if you can, you know, offer up the most money, there's also a personal aspect as well, right? And a lot of these players are from the States, and that whole Canadian aspect, maybe it doesn't apply to Ohtani, but it sure as hell does to somebody like Cody Bellinger, you know, who might want to stay in, or might want to go to California, or might want to just be around there. So I do 100% understand where Atkins is coming from. It sucks to hear that we're not necessarily going to be able to go out and get a Yamamoto and an Ohtani, but I never really pictured us in that camp to begin with. I think really the only people that are capable of doing that is maybe the LA Dodgers and maybe the New York Mets, but even they are not buying this offseason, so there you go.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Hey, I want to take a dive because a lot of you guys are coming at us right now with all this, apparently rumors are flying like crazy.
Yeah.
Let me give a quick shout out just so we get this in, so we can get some rumor diving to the next sponsor of today's live play-by-play. Oh, not play-by-play. To today's Blue Jays Today show.
Time for a quick covered bridge potato chips, made with ingredients from the St. John River Valley and cooked carefully in a local factory. They've got tons of great flavors like smoke and barbecue, sea salt, and sour cream and onion. Get a taste of this delicious flavor cooked the old-fashioned way. Now, back to the content.
You know, it is kind of like a play-by-play a little bit.
It is kind of.
It's like
that's what it felt like, bro.
Well, I'll be honest, man. Like this entire roller coaster that's been the last 5-6 days of just rumors, it kind of feels like a little bit of a play-by-play because you're getting these live tweets coming out, and this one guy is saying this one thing, and then you get a totally different guy pushing back, and it's like this rally of the Yankees are in, no, the Blue Jays are in, no, the Ohtani is talking to the Dodgers, no, Ross Atkins is in fucking Japan right now. It's insane.
I know. It's a lot of fun too. I love this time of year. I do want to give another quick shout out to our source, our insider.
Right.
That apparently the same person that said that Ross is meeting with Ohtani right now. Apparently the meeting's over, and we might hear something soon. I don't know. And apparently Ross is feeling good. Okay. There you go.
And shout out to MLB Insider once again. Listen, you got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt because I don't know who this person is. They don't even have a fucking profile photo because,
Hey, apparently they predicted the Freeman deal. And that's his track record.
Well, okay. Listen, man, a broken clock is right twice a day. But they do come out and they say that the Jays, the Dodgers, and the Giants, they have not yet been told that they are out. So that's 3 solid squads right there. We always knew that we were up against the Dodgers. San Fran did make a lot of sense because, like I said, they were in on everybody last year. They got literally none of them, and they are on the West Coast, and they are typically a team that likes to try to stay competitive as much as possible, so it would make sense for Shohei Ohtani to go there. But if that is the case, if this is to be believed, that's pretty damn exciting.
I mean, it is. Again, take it with a grain of salt, all right? Don't take this literally. We'll say it 1,000 times, but apparently all 3 of those teams made aggressive offers, and the Blue Jays offers is the highest.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, no, listen, man, I will always believe in the Jays' ability to spend money, and we've talked about it many times. We truly hate all of the narrative that is the Jays don't spend. Because that's not true. And if you're somebody who believes that the Jays, they don't really go out, they don't get free agents, I really encourage you to educate yourself on the last 3 to 4 years.
Where have you been?
Because it's true, though.
Seriously.
It's right. Like, the narrative of the Toronto Blue Jays not going out and getting people, maybe you could have said that for, like, the early 2010s or whatever, but that's just not the case anymore. Ever since the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has begun, they have bought in on everything. Anyone who's available, our name is associated with them, and even if they're not capable of getting all of those guys, because we have missed out on Freeman, we have missed out on others, they still get a ton, like Chapman and Gosman and Bassett and Burrios and you name it, Springer and Ryu, right? They do stuff.
We have the 3rd highest payroll in MLB. Like, I'm tired of people thinking that we don't spend money or that we can't actually buy free agents. Like, we have the 3rd. Yeah, have we ever had a $200 million player? No, but not a lot of teams have either. But we have multiple $100 million dudes, and we can spend more.
Do you think that we end up with a $200 million guy by the end of this year?
Or
by the end of this offseason?
It's tough. I mean, who are the $200 million dudes? It's Ohtani and it's Bellinger. And Yamamoto.
And for God, please help us. Maybe Matt Chapman. I hope not Matt Chapman.
My God. So the question is, do I think we end up with Ohtani, Bellinger, or Yamamoto?
Or severely overpay for Matt Chapman?
Or severely... it's tough. I think it's honestly probably 40% maybe.
Right.
40%. I think we can. I think we're ready to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping us.
Shout out and thank you to the person that just subscribed right there. W's in the chat for all of our new subscribers. We appreciate every single one of you folks. Let your questions be known in the chat, everybody. I do wonder about that trade speculation, really looking into it. He brought up starters. Yeah. And that's the first thing that he brought up, is he brought up starters. He didn't bring up position players, and we've been talking about this whole time about how we need position players, just lefty bats, a third baseman, Isaac Paredes, for instance, Juan Soto's been there the whole time, or others. But we also brought up the other day, yesterday actually, we were looking at the Atlanta Braves and how they might be looking to trade for a starting pitcher. And the fact that Ross Atkins brought up starting pitchers first to me means that we might be in that conversation as well for a Bieber or a Cease or a who are the other guys that are available? There's Tyler Glass now. There's one other guy as well. But that is very interesting to me that he was looking at that.
Yeah, I mean, he did say, like, Atkins that says that the free agency is stronger for pitching. I mean, if we were going to go get a starting pitcher, wouldn't you think it would be the free agency market?
Potentially.
You know what I mean?
Okay, you know what? Actually, I completely misinterpreted what he said. I was assuming that he was referring to the trade market.
Right.
But either way, we are now interested in a pitcher. When you come out and you say something like this, we are interested in a pitcher.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we said it, we must have said it like a month ago, where we were open to literally every position.
Yeah.
Whether it be a starting pitcher or not. Because if you just straight up look at the Toronto Blue Jays depth system, like, our rotation's great, but guess what happens when one of them gets injured? You're going to have a literal nobody, assuming that you're not going to bring up Ricky Tiedemann. Assuming everybody we have right now, you're going to have a nobody. No offense to the guys in our organization, but guys that maybe Bowden Francis, like maybe he could be a dude one day, but that's it. You really do need to kind of add more. You know what I mean? Even if they are all starting guys, run a 6-man rotation.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's possible. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them at all. So if you did want to get your position player in the trade market, Juan Soto or somebody else, go sign some more pitching. Pitching helps you win championships. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't expect it, but I wouldn't hate it.
I also think a lot of this too has to do with the Manoah situation, and the more that we hear about Alek Manoah and the way that they're speaking about him, the more I'm starting to think that he is going to be gone.
And if he gets gone, or they trade him, go sign a
you
pitcher.
go sign a pitcher.
Yeah,
right? But
that makes a lot
I
of
think
sense.
that everything that's come out this offseason, sure, they have said stuff that supported him, but there's also been countless reports about the fractured relationship. And Manoah hears that his name is coming up in trade conversations.
Oh, yeah.
That is something that he knows, right? So if there was talks with with the organization, say, hey, we want to be part of your future, like, listen, we know that we had a rough one, we had a rough go at it last year, let's run it back in 2024. And then he goes on to hear that they're shopping me right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're looking elsewhere to get rid of me. And it's not just Juan Soto. There was reports of this happening prior to this. It makes me think that the management could be done with Manoah, or at least working with Alek Manoah.
Yeah, I think someone did report, like another MLB insider, saying that Alek Manoah is a classic change of scenery guy. Like, he did it in the past. 1 year, bad, really rough with Ross Atkins in the Blue Jays front office. Maybe he goes to San Diego and he goes and figures himself out down there.
Yeah.
I think he could fit down there.
And that would make a lot of sense when you think about it. Like, I understand that from a Padres standpoint, he was bad last year, and it is very tough to kind of justify trading away potentially a future Hall of Famer for a guy who was in the minors last year for a little bit and was one of the worst qualified pitchers in the entire MLB. But they also know that he can be very, very good, and with the right coaching, and if he can get on the right track again, you could end up with a Cy Young 3 just like we did a year prior.
He's a great dart throw, and he's going to eat you innings. No matter how bad he is, he will eat you innings, and that's what they really need right now.
Yeah. So honestly, guys, as much as I love Manoah and I do want him to be with the Toronto Blue Jays, the more that they speak on him, I'm thinking that maybe he's not with the team next year.
Yeah, potentially, guys. Let's take a few questions in the chat, guys. We're going to stay on a little bit longer. There's our Blue Jays Today show. We have lots of content coming out through the entire week, but the rumors are getting hot. Not credible sources, mind you, but they're getting hot, so we want to kind of dive into this a little bit with y'all.
And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Like we said, we're getting dangerously close to that 20,000 subscriber mark. Your name will pop up literally right here, folks. A big shout out to every one of our new subscribers. We're getting a shout out to go to MLB Insider once again. Like I said, it feels like a live play-by-play. We're just bouncing around right here. Did they tweet anything else out other than the fact that the Jays know? So the most recent thing, I guess you could say that that they did tweet out 20 minutes ago that the Atlanta Braves, the second mystery team in the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes, they've been informed that they're out.
Yeah, that was a big news this morning that like Braves are in, and when I heard that, I shuddered a little bit. Like, oh god, like that's a team I thought would be a really good place for Ohtani to wind up.
Well, he really does. It depends on how committed he is to winning. Yeah. Because ultimately, like if I had to wager on which team is going to win the most games, not the most championships, but just the most games in general over the next decade, I would have to stake my life on the Atlanta Braves. That's where I would put my money. So if Ohtani really did believe or just wanted to go to a place just for the sake of winning, no money, no location, no geography involved,
Braves.
They're there.
And they need a pitcher in the next 2 years like to really fill out that rotation. Yeah. You're perfect. Man, you have such a core around you. That would be nasty with Olsen, Acuna, Riley, him. Yeah. God, that's just not fair. Albies. Also, people were saying this in the chat. We'll shout this one out too. Again, Yamamoto's coming up. We're talking about, free agency pitchers. Yamamoto, he's going to be flying to California where he's scheduled to meet with the Dodgers and San Fran. Other teams' meetings in the works, I'm told, including the Blue Jays. And actually, our insider that did come to us privately said this as well, that Ross is now on his way to meet with Yamamoto. So, hey, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, guys. Whatever you want to believe it.
Well, I do anticipate that you're going to meet with him, right?
Like, absolutely.
I think that the one thing that we can take away from all of these rumors and all this speculation and these reports, even if the Jays aren't serious about it, they're going to meet with them. Yeah. They're going to have the conversation, and they're going to say, look, this is what we can offer. Are you interested in us? Because maybe, right, you never know. Maybe Yamamoto is just like, fuck, I love the Toronto Blue Jays. And if that's the case, okay, great. Like, we can make something work. So I think out of everything that we have heard so far, I guarantee you that Ross has had a meeting with the Padres and has sat down in a private room about Juan Soto, that he will or has already had a private meeting with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, that he will or he has already had a meeting with Shohei Ohtani, and that he will and has had a meeting already with Cody Bellinger. Every single one of those things has happened.
Could you imagine if he was in that meeting right just a moment ago with Shohei Ohtani and his representatives? If he was like, "Hey man, so I got Yamamoto in about an hour. If I go get Yamamoto, will you sign this deal?" And he goes, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I will." And then Ross is off. And then he's like, "Yamamoto, 265. 265 right here. We're gonna get you everything you want. We're gonna set you up. Kikuchi's over here. Our rotation in a year from now, we sign back Kikuchi. It'd be Kikuchi, Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto. We've got the entire Japanese market.
Dude,
that's the play.
Let's just literally sign every single Japanese player we can. We'll just make the Japanese national team.
Dude, that's how we win the World Series.
We'll just make the Japanese national team, and we'll run it with Japan, and we'll just fucking annihilate.
They beat the Americans in the World Baseball Classic. Let's just become the Toronto.
It's
Japan
proven.
Blue Jays.
It's proven, man. I mean, that was a pretty stacked American team. If you can beat that team, you can beat anybody.
You can beat anybody. That's the path to the World Series, guys.
Just sign all the Japanese players,
Never been more convinced.
Maybe that is actually the game plan right now. I was just picturing as well, it's like you're in that meeting with Ohtani. Like, can you imagine if this guy's taking the fucking Zoom call and Ohtani's right there behind the camera?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I can't say where I am. That'd be wild, dude. I mean, I think that everything that's going on with Ross Atkins right now, it's like, even though I love it, there's some serious comedy to it as well.
Yeah, man. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. Yeah, Kikuchi, the recruiter. No, seriously, if we do sign Ohtani or Yamamoto, and part of the reason was I love what you built here, Kikuchi's here. If Kikuchi has another great year, I'd highly consider signing him back. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah,
especially if we trade Manoah. Yeah.
Also, I'm hearing some people who are watching the MLB Network right now saying that they are pumping Toronto. I do like to hear that.
Yeah.
I like to hear it, man.
They always like to doubt us, but here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Very rarely does Toronto get all of the media coverage when it's got to do with the free agents, but I'm all about it. What is this?
I don't even know what that is.
Shohei Ohtani's following. Oh, he is following a lot of Giants players.
Yeah.
Listen, this is nothing. This is nothing.
That means nothing.
No.
I mean, he's literally played with them, Who cares? Yeah.
Oh, hold up. Logan Webb has a new follower on Instagram. Is it Shohei Ohtani?
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Well, no,
it can't be.
Well, we're going to get Logan Webb, too.
Yeah.
We're going to get Logan Webb, too. Yeah, we're going to trade for Logan Webb, and he will bring Shohei Ohtani.
Dude,
to the Toronto Blue Jays.
I've seen way too many social media things oh, Vladdy liked this post. What does it mean? No, it doesn't mean anything.
At the end of the day, people are people, dude. I do some weird stuff on my phone sometimes too, and I don't think twice about it.
No, exactly.
So I mean, I could see it being absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
How disappointed would you be? Because I saw an article come out today talking about how Soler would be the great fallback for the teams that miss out on Shohei Ohtani.
Right.
At this point for me, because I know a few weeks ago we were all in on the Soler train.
Yep.
I think I am off of that train entirely, and it's all just to do with the fact that I'm way too hyped up about the other big 4 or big 5 free agents or trades that are available.
I mean, back then, we didn't think we were getting Soto. We didn't think we were getting Ohtani or Yamamoto. We thought, you know what? If we could somehow get Bellinger, hell yeah. Now, Bellinger looks like the worst of the big 4. You know what I mean? So, if we fall back on Bellinger, I'm like, oh, he's going to be overpaid, and I don't know. Yeah. So, no, I mean, it will be a big shock, and most likely we are going to face a situation, everybody, just prepping yourselves, where we will get probably disappointed if we don't get Ohtani or Juan Soto or Yamamoto, and we're going to have to come back to reality, and yes, we are going to have to set our sights on Soler and trading for somebody else and get a 1-year rental here. And I don't know, at that point, I'm going to be let down, but I'm going to have to forget about the idea or the potential that we could have had and focus on the team now.
Yeah.
And that's it. We got to figure out how to win now with the current players out there.
I still do think that the Toronto Blue Jays could make a team work with Cody Bellinger being your guy.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
I still think, again, because at the end of the day, right, we get all caught up in everything to do with the value of things, right? I feel like in free agency in the offseason and trade deadline and everything, it's all about the value and these guys, they look so tantalizing. until the regular season starts, and then everybody's on a level playing field again.
Yes.
Right, and you can get breakouts from guys like Brandon Belt or Marcus Simeon, who ends up being MVP 3 for you in a year where he thought that he might be a bench bat. Right, it's like that's stuff that can happen. Everybody becomes on a level playing field the second that the regular season starts. So I still think that the Blue Jays could make a teamwork, a playoff teamwork surrounding a Cody Bellinger. I don't really want it to be Soler, but if it had to be, I understand that as well.
Yeah, you got to come back down to earth at some point. And look, we could get the Vlad breakout. We're all assuming Vlad's going to hit 770, next year. And Bo's going to hit 300, but only like 800. And those could be the best players on the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
What about Kirk? There's always guys that could actually break out that we don't know. I love it. Yeah.
690 people watching right now. Guys, if you haven't already done so, hit that like button, folks. Let's get this thing up to 200 likes and subscribe to the channel as well, guys. We are so close to 20,000 subscribers. It would mean a ton. Let's do a little look on Twitter right now. Flip over, see if there's anybody else that's tweeting anything in regards to the Blue Jays or Atkins or anything like that. Also, guys, if you have any questions for us, ask away. We'll probably be on for another like 10-15 minutes or so, unless some news breaks. Shout out to Brendan Paniker right now. We've showcased some of his stuff in the past. Odds are changing again.
Yep, and the Dodgers are getting ever more favorited. Blue Jays, though, still there. I mean, I've seen the 275 chilling right there.
Yeah, it's kind of been like that for a while now.
Been a while. And then he also said, he doesn't believe Giants are factors because they literally are plus 1,000. I agree. I really don't buy into any of the Giants stuff at all.
You don't, eh?
I just don't. I don't know. I never did. I mean, that's like the worst team to go to if you want to win. Like right now, with their current makeup of their players, that's the worst team.
I get
Why
it.
would you do that?
I do understand it. I think that partly it's got to do with the geography, being on the West Coast, being very close to where you're already living. You probably wouldn't need to move that far. And again, like the Giants are not Dodgers good, but I think that they're also decent. So yeah, I mean it is possible.
I hear you. I'm trying to look for anything else that we got going on here. Kind of just same thing. People kind of like just like reliving the MLB Insider breaking news.
Ethan Woods has a really good question here, saying, if the Jays miss out on Ohtani, would you rather them pay assets for Soto this year or possibly sign Soto as a free agent next year? Very interesting, yeah, because that's true, right? The next year's free agency going to be the same thing, guys. There's going to be a massive player available, somebody who you can anchor your team around for decades. No, he doesn't pitch as well as hit, but he hits really, really good, and that is going to be Juan Soto. And if you miss out for trading for Juan Soto right now, there is still the option to potentially give this guy $400 million next offseason. Yeah,
and what you are paying the prospect capital for is, yes, a year of Juan Soto, but also, like you've said on the show a lot, a chance to talk to him and get him accustomed to the city and look at the organization. We don't have to sell you on the city anymore. You've already lived it. Yeah. So maybe you like it.
Yeah, and exactly, right? It's like there is a whole element of like if he's got to move his family over here for a year, like that is appealing to stay in that one place. If they're offering the same amount of money as this other team and they did make playoffs and they did win a series, and it's like, and I did have a good year and I did like the coaching staff.
Me and Vlad became buddies again. Like we've been buddies off the field. Now we're like buddies on the field.
Exactly,
it's
right?
Great.
It's like it is absolutely a boost to have that already in place. So I think honestly, like, it would help us to sign him long term to give the assets up right now, and I think that's something that you would need to actively kind of be working towards and getting it done if you were to trade for him.
I agree. Looking around, I think it's kind of quieting down right now as of late. But guys, I mean, this is exciting. This is exciting. We're probably going to be, if things break tomorrow again, we'll go live. If things break Wednesday, we'll go live.
Feels
we'll be
like
live.
There's going to be some news coming in the next 12 hours.
Absolutely.
I feel like there's a good, like, we're going to have a podcast coming out tomorrow morning. Would not be surprised at all to see us live again. It's sometime in the afternoon, folks, based on everything that's going on.
Absolutely. Guys, if you haven't already, man, there's 680 of you with us live. Hit that like button. We're literally one like away from 200, so hit that like button. And guys, smash that subscribe button, folks. Again, podcast coming out tomorrow morning. And we also got a live stream, potentially, if some news breaks and you want to be right here on Blue Jays Today.
Hold up. There is a few people saying tweet Twitter right now.
Okay.
Like, just before we hop off, can you imagine if we hop off and Ohtani fucking signs? Like, I would lose my shit, you know?
Let's see.
Is it this Eric Fetty stuff? Because, like, Listen,
Eric
guys.
Fetty?
I mean, like, it was MLB Insider tweeted something. Yes, absolutely, Gamer Geek. We're going live the second that anything goes down.
Oh God,
right now.
yeah.
So
Sorry.
just saying Twitter, so I have no idea what's happening. If there was anything that transpired.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see anything, folks. Is it? How do you spell Eric Fetty?
Just a picture, like it was on MLB Insider, but yeah, like you guys got to tell us like where it is on Twitter if there is something that happened here.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, we're going to do our sign off, and if you guys let us know in the next 20 seconds, then we'll check. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. We appreciate every single one of you. More content on the way. Potential live stream tomorrow. Podcast for sure. If Ohtani signs, we are going to be live immediately. It's dropping what we're doing. We're running to the camera. We're turning that thing on. It's going to be phenomenal, folks. So please hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. And as always,
Go Jays, go!